Right now, authorities are giving an update on the search in Oconee County for a missing man from Greenville County. Let's listen in.
Titled with the Sheriff's Office, Jimmy, J-I-M-M-Y. First name, last name is Watt, W-A-T-T. Master Deputy rank, Public Information Officer at the Oconee County Sheriff's Office. So I'll be addressing all of you on behalf of Unified Command today. Let me go ahead and kind of give you a rundown of the events today, and then we can certainly take some questions. So late this morning, our E911 Communications Center received a call concerning a hiker who had found a gray 2010 Nissan Sentra. And we were able to determine that that particular vehicle was a vehicle that was being driven by Mark Patrick Wagnon. And we're able to determine that based, of course, obviously on the tag and perhaps some other information as well. So at that particular point in time, later on, a unified command was established here at Oconee State Park. Involves many different agencies: Oconee County Emergency Service, the Oconee County Sheriff's Office, the Greenville County Sheriff's Office, Greenville County EMS, Prisma EMS, Mountain Rest Fire, and also the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, as well as the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. And also have been told that the South Carolina Emergency Management Division has also been notified as well. So we issued a news release just a little while ago with this basic information. The call into dispatch came about 11:08 a.m. this morning regarding the discovery of the vehicle, and obviously at that time, as we said, personnel from those agencies responded here to Oconee State Park. The vehicle was actually located on Tower Road off of Highway 107. It was found at the location of a gate that was secure. There were keys located inside, however, no one was inside the vehicle. So obviously our search for Mark continues tonight. We released a picture of Mark, which you should have received, and we're asking anyone that has any information on his location, if they have seen him, seen somebody that looks like him, whatever the case may be, if they think they see him, call 911 immediately. And we're also asking residents to certainly search their property and their homes, any structures there on those particular properties. And of course, in today's technological age, with all the doorbell cameras, to check their footage as well. If they see anything, call 911 immediately. We mentioned in the release that Mark is 5'7", 158 pounds, a white beard, wearing a blue polo and blue jeans. That was his description, I believe, from the information that's been released by the Greenville County Sheriff's Office. I know, speaking with Lieutenant Flood, I believe that he was reported missing on Monday. So our search does continue, but once again, we do seek the public's help. If they see anybody matching his description, even if they don't think it's him, call 911 immediately and let us know, and provide as much specific information as you can.
Besides keys inside the vehicle, were there any other personal items that you can talk about inside the vehicle?
I don't know what else was found inside the vehicle, but I do know that keys were located inside.
How has the search been going today outside of finding the vehicle? Have there been any other leads or any new information come in?
Well, there's about 40 personnel, I guess, in terms of numbers, in terms of individuals who are on the scene in various roles. Obviously, we do have personnel that are searching the area through some very rough terrain. We did have some individuals, personnel, who have been talking with residents in the general area, kind of searching those areas. Any structures here at Oconee State Park and maybe some other places as well are also have been searched or are being searched too. So about 40 personnel in terms of numbers have been involved in the operations going on today.
What does that look like moving forward today? As the sun kind of starting to set over the next couple hours, what does that look like going in tonight if you don't have any solid?
Well, there'll be some operations that will continue overnight. Obviously, because of the rough terrain, we may not be able to have personnel out on foot after dark because the terrain can be quite rough here in the area around the park. But there will be some operations, even though they may be diminished, that will continue overnight. And then once sunrise comes tomorrow, if Mark is not located, then obviously we will pick back up those operations tomorrow. Once daylight does come. But there will be some operations tonight, but obviously they may be diminished somewhat for the safety of the personnel who are on the scene.
Anything that points to him still being here, walking around here? I mean, anything?
Well, obviously we found the vehicle here today. So, and then of course there was, we assisted Greenville County with a search yesterday due to some information they had received about the vehicle being here in Oconee County. So obviously we know that at some point in time, very recently, he was here. So in every situation like this, our number one goal is to find Mark safe, or anybody who is missing safe, and reunite them with their families. That is our number one goal.
Any idea how long the car had been there?
I do not know that information.
Did the car have any damage to the front or the back or anywhere of the body?
That I do not know. All I know is the vehicle was found near a fence on Tower Road. That fence was secure, and inside the car was car keys, but in terms of any condition in the vehicle, anything that may have been found inside other than the car keys, I do not know.
Has the car been removed by authorities now?
I do not know that for sure. I don't know if the car has been removed from the scene or not, or it's been towed away, or it's still there. So obviously, investigators or whomever personnel, emergency services personnel would be looking in that vehicle possibly for any clues, of course.
What else can the community do?
Just vigilance. Be vigilant, and if they see anybody matching his description, call 911 immediately. Even if they don't think that that's him, if it's somebody that looks like him, call 911. If you have those doorbell cameras, make sure to look on those cameras for any footage that you may have. Check if you have structures on your property, check those structures as well thoroughly. In many cases with many missing persons, the fact that we release that information and put it out there, in many cases we have found that leads to finding those individuals safe and bringing them home to their families. So that's what we want in these situations, to find him safe, bring him home to his family. But the bottom line is be vigilant, be aware of what's going on. So.
Do you know if he made any stops at a gas station to gas up his car? Pick up water or something?
Do not know that. Do not know that. We just know that based on a tip, I think that Greenville County received, the vehicle was seen, I think sometime late Monday evening. So we assisted Greenville County with the search yesterday, and obviously we have the Unified Command here today. But most important thing, once again, is obviously we want to bring Mark back home safe to his family. Okay. Anything else? Thank you so much. And if we have any media briefings, they will be here. And obviously if we have